the very latest on the Oakland Airport name change. We'll have a report from Jocelyn Escobar.
Plus, Associated Student passed a new resolution boycotting pro-Israeli companies. More to come.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Vincent Rapena.
And I'm Larry Larkin. Oakland International Airport wants to rename its airport San Francisco Bay Oakland International Airport. That has set off a huge controversy on both sides of the bay. Jocelyn Escobar has more on this story.
Workers are voting on renaming Oakland Airport and adding San Francisco Bay to the name. Some say it will benefit Oakland's economy by making it more visible and known to domestic and international travelers.
Statistic I heard, which I believe is a conservative one, for every additional route that we get, that's a $10 million injection into our Oakland and East Bay economy.
Others are concerned the name change will be confusing to travelers and obscure Oakland's identity.
To have San Francisco Bay appear before Oakland appears to be an attempt to distance the city from its unique cultural history that's separate and distinct from San Francisco.
I asked an Oakland resident and an Alameda County Sheriff's aide for their opinion on the airport's name change.
To see a lot of businesses closing down, just two businesses closed down in the last 3 months. So maybe this is some form of rebranding for the city, and it may help them out economically.
It's pretty upsetting and confusing. We do have two airports here at the Bay Area. However, there's no two San Franciscos. A lot of folks don't know is that we deal with folks that when they're traveling, they have anxiety. So a lot of them are confused, and imagine with the name change, they're going to even be more confused.
On May 9th, the Board of Port Commissioners will vote for the name change. If a majority votes in favor, the airport will be renamed San Francisco Bay Oakland International Airport. In Oakland, Jocelyn Escobar, Update News.
Pro-Palestinian students rallied on campus after legislation was passed in their favor. Update News reporter Madison Wilbur is live with updates on that story.
Thanks, Vincent. In a unanimous vote yesterday, Associated Students passed a boycott resolution that calls for AS funds to stop contributing to companies such as Dell and HPE that help to supply Israel.
This resolution is the first legislation of its kind in the CSU system. After the vote, students rallied outside of the student union to celebrate, but not without campus police present, surrounding them in nearby buildings and streets.
Seeing people globally stand up to genocide made me realize that I have the right to claim my identity in a way that also stands up to genocide. So seeing this resolution pass gives me hope.
The resolution is a part of the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which works to end international support to Israel. 2 weeks ago on March 13th, AS also unanimously voted yes to a resolution in support of a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Questions are being raised of how students who use school supplies and resources from companies such as Dell will be affected.
There's always other ways to get resources for people who need laptops and stuff like that, but that doesn't excuse providing funds for the killing of Palestinians.
Update News attempted to contact SJSU's administration, students supporting Israel, AS, and campus police, but received no answer from the organizations. Live in San Jose, this is Madison Wilbur, Update News.
The city of San Jose is a place of progress and innovation, and now is a potential location for the up-and-coming Blue Zones project. According to Healthline.com, Blue Zones are geographic areas with lower rates of chronic diseases and a longer life expectancy. People in these areas are living lifestyles that include eating well, moving naturally in their everyday lives, and possibly most importantly, having a deeply socially connected community. San Jose City Council member Deborah Davis has made it her goal to positively impact the health and lives of citizens in the area by taking the initiative to make San Jose a blue zone. For more information, visit Davis's website at sjd6.org.
There's a lot that's taken place in the world this past week. Reporter Andrew Hartley sat down to tell us about the biggest headlines.
Welcome to this week's In the Loop, where I tell you things your parents definitely saw in the news this week that you should know about too. Sunday, Israel launched strikes in Gaza to the city of Rafah. These strikes killed 22 people, including 18 children. The Palestinian death toll has now passed 34,000. The war has lasted more than 200 days. The United States Senate passed a $95 billion bill that would provide war relief to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. $61 billion would be given to Ukraine, and $26 billion would be given to Israel. The U.S. Supreme Court heard a case this week on the legality of homelessness. Oral arguments seem to indicate that a majority of the justices would side with the town of Grants Pass, Oregon. The city bans homeless people from sleeping or camping in public places. A high court decision is expected within a few months. There have been anti-Israel protests nationwide this week on college campuses, from SJSU all the way to the Ivy Leagues. Columbia University's protests have gotten so large that the university will be holding online classes for the rest of the year. Finally, a man lit himself on fire outside of the courthouse in New York where Donald Trump's trial is being held. 37-year-old Maxwell Azzarello died from his injuries after being taken to the hospital. That's what's been in the loop this week. Now, back to the desk.
When we come back.
And the Spartan Recreation and Aquatic Center celebrates their 5th year anniversary. More to come.
Now, salmon fishing season has been canceled. What does this mean for salmon lovers? That story just ahead.
The Spartan Recreation and Aquatic Center, also known as the SRAC, is celebrating its 5th anniversary this month. Located near 7th Street and San Carlos, it's a popular gathering spot for students. Reporter Ira Moreno explains why it's so popular has more.
The Spartan Rack, or the SRAC, opened its doors back in April of 2019. It's a place where students can work out, study, and do other activities like play sports, take a swim, and have good vibes.
So I've only been going to the SRAC for maybe 3 years, but vibes I think are pretty good. Like everybody's there just working out. It gets pretty busy sometimes, but it's all right.
It's fairly friendly. People are very nice and it's actually clean. So I say it's a good vibe.
Many students use the SRAC only for studying.
But if you really want to swim or do other activities other than basketball and gym, I'll recommend you doing badminton or running or swimming.
Whether you like to climb the boulder wall, pump iron in the weight room, run track, or swim laps, the SRAC is open for use by students, faculty, and staff. Make sure to bring your tower card. At San Jose State, Ira Moreno, Update News.
As most of you know, there's a two-factor authentication app San Jose State students must use to log into their university accounts. But the so-called Duo Mobile app is getting complaints these days. Kyle Tran reports.
To log into your San Jose State account on Duo, you can choose between a push notification or a passcode to authorize the login. This is done to add an extra layer of protection. It's a common practice in the workforce. However, one of the main annoyances students continue to face is getting constant authentications, despite checking the box that says, stay signed in.
I never actually stay signed in, which is kind of a hassle, even though I'm the one already, even though I already did everything, I already did the verification that it's me, so it's kind of just a hassle.
Take a look at the screen. In a recent update to a Duo mobile app, SJSU students now have an extra step in the process. This extra step includes a prompt to verify. However, on the screen, you can see that the Duo authentications at other universities keep their users signed in and without the extra step. Though it may seem small at first, constantly signing in can be tedious for students over time. Some San Jose students complain the Duo app has been a thorn in their sides since enrolling in the service. They're also upset about a requirement to change passwords.
For Duo, for me, it makes me restart my password every couple months. So it gets really noticed. I don't know which password I'm using now.
But other students say they don't mind the extra step.
It makes it not easier, but it makes it better just so it's safer for students to log into their portal.
For now, Duo says it will continue to keep student information safe despite the annoying hurdles students have to go through. At San Jose State, Kyle Tran, Update News.
Californians are going to be forced to look elsewhere for their favorite salmon dishes this summer. Salmon fishing season has been canceled for the Golden State for the 2024 season. How did this decision come to be, and what does this mean for Californians? I went out to find some answers.
California has canceled ocean salmon fishing for the 2nd year in a row. The Pacific Fishery Management Council unanimously voted to prohibit all recreational and commercial salmon fishing due to low population returns. The state's fisheries that track salmon reproduction found that the 2024 spawn was lower than has been in the past. The Department of Fish and Wildlife attributed the low number of salmon to poor environmental conditions like drought. Those who have researched overfishing say that the ripple effects can be massive.
So if you're overfishing them, you completely destroy the whole entire chain. There's no more loop, if that makes sense. That natural loop no longer exists.
Those who fish for a living are going to be heavily impacted without a salmon season.
Salmon fishing for me personally, it's about 70% of my business or more. And with no salmon season this year, it's definitely going to be a struggle for us to keep operating.
Fishing boats in San Francisco are looking for new forms of income, like catching alternative fish and offering boat tours along the bay.
You basically got to adapt. You just got to do whatever you can to try to survive, because this is all I have for income.
There are many anglers in California that were disappointed to hear they were not going to be able to fish salmon.
So yeah, I usually go fishing every summer with friends and family, so it's really sad to hear.
The Chinook salmon that are native to California are an endangered species. The recent rainy season has shown positive signs toward potential return in 2025. San Jose State's student-run newspaper is celebrating 90 years on campus this month. The Spartan Daily was established in April of 1934 by journalist Dwight Bentel. The Daily publishes 3 times a week while school is in session, and there's a special edition printed every semester. The paper has received hundreds of awards, including Best Campus Newspaper in California. This semester, the special issue will highlight 90 years serving San Jose State students and the surrounding community with the latest news.
There were lots of Earth Day celebrations over the last weekend at the new farm located in San Francisco. The festival kicked off with something a bit unusual: warm weather. Types of vendors lined up. They welcome people to learn more about how sustainability practices can help make the Earth a healthier place. Even Tesla managed to come out and put on display its new electric truck, the Cybertruck, for those who are looking to make the switch from gas to electric vehicles. Alongside all the vendors and tents were animals at the new farm. It's home to all the goats you can see when shopping through the new farm's nursery.
Earth Day was on Monday, and this year's theme was Planet versus Plastic. Reporter Alyssa Phillips asked people how they're staying sustainable in this week's Day of the Spartans.
I care about Earth Day. I think it's a great way to raise awareness for the Earth and to just like show our appreciation towards the Earth. And some ways that I like to show my appreciation is like if I see trash, I'll pick it up.
Leading a sustainable lifestyle is very important. So for example, I do things to reduce like my footprint, stuff like taking the bus.
Less plastic waste and I guess less wish recycling. I just throw things in the recycle bin without a second thought.
Here at the Marketing Association, we hold a semesterly thrift event where we collect donations from friends, family, and other students, and we sell them back to SJSU to help prevent the fast fashion and the harm that brings.
I love Earth Day. I'm currently trying to reduce my own plastic pollution waste by using more things like glass straws.
I think keeping nature clean is a big part and it is really important. I think you guys all should pick up litter and do your best to keep the earth clean.
One of my favorite things to do, honestly, is when I go grocery shopping, I like to walk to buy groceries. I try to stay outside. I really like hiking a lot. I like running a lot. I try to like be green when I can.
I care about Earth Day because, you know, it's kind of hot now and I feel that, and I just don't want that to progress even further, like when the planet heats up more.
Go to Tower Lawn with friends and enjoy the weather and, yeah, the beautiful scenery.
I gotta appreciate the Earth. You know, a lot of squirrels around campus.
I love nature. I really love Discovery Channel. I love watching Earth in my free time. That's my #1 watch TV show. So, happy Earth Day, guys.
Here's what's next when we come back.
Do you drink decaf coffee? Well, you might have to find another alternative. A new bill suggests a ban. Coming up.
And we've got the latest highlights on Spartan baseball, softball, women's golf, and beach volleyball. Stay tuned.
Is it possible that your morning routine is slowly poisoning you? Some scientists say decaf coffee may contain chemicals that lead to cancer. Reporter Alexis Marquez looks more into that topic.
A new California bill suggests a chemical used to decaffeinate coffee may be dangerous. Lawmakers are looking to ban methylene chloride. This is a colorless, volatile liquid with a chloroform-like odor. It's normally used as a solvent. In March 2019, the Environmental Protection Agency prohibited the manufacturing, processing, and distribution of methylene chloride in all paint, yet it is still used to decaffeinate coffee. Many decaf coffee consumers are pregnant people, people with heart problems, high blood sugar, and sensitive stomachs. So is this something people should be worried about?
You know, like you're going for decaf because you think because you think it's better than the regular coffee, but like in reality, it's actually the opposite. So that's like concerning.
Others say this is not much of a concern.
If the way it's processed is a concern for you, then maybe avoid it. But if it's not, then I just kind of say everything in moderation, just like if you were to have regular caffeinated coffee.
If you're drinking a lot of decaf coffee regularly, we're talking like probably 25, 30 cups a day to get to toxic levels, then yes, you should be concerned.
Kubota mentions that dosage is really important for situations like these, but if there's still concern, there are other ways to decaffeinate coffee, such as the Swiss water method. Some brands such as Peet's and Philz Coffee use this method. It usually tends to be more expensive. If this California bill becomes law, methylene chloride will be banned in 2027. In San Jose, I'm Alexis Marquez, Update News.
Now to sports, where San Jose State had quite a week. How did the Spartans do? Here is this week's sports update. The San Jose State baseball team swept the Mountain West first-place team Fresno State on the road over the weekend, winning 6-4 on Friday, 12-7 on Saturday, and 9-2 on Sunday. The Spartans currently sit in third place in Mountain West standings. The Spartans are at home for a 3-game series against UNLV starting tomorrow. The opposite happened for the softball team. The Spartans got swept in a doubleheader on the road against Colorado State and 2 Mercy Rule losses on Sunday. The Spartans host UNLV in a 3-game series starting tomorrow, including the final home game of the season on Sunday. On to women's golf. The Spartans won the Mountain West Championship last week by 18 strokes. Kaza Orafal had a remarkable performance, recording a 9-under 207 in the 3 rounds of play. Her 207 is the second lowest 54-hole score in the history of the championship, only behind former Spartan Natasha Andrea Un, who had a 10-under 16 in 2022. The Spartans will head to the NCAA Regionals in Clay, Allen, Washington, which will take place May 6th through 8th. In beach volleyball, the Spartans were eliminated in the Southland Conference Tournament by Houston Christian. Their 14 wins this season are the most in school history. San Jose State's spring football game is this Saturday. Also, the Spartans men's golf team heads to Crestwell, Oregon for the Mountain West Championship, which starts tomorrow. The women's water polo team heads to Bloomington, Indiana for the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation tournament, where they'll take on Cal in the first round tomorrow. That's your sports update for this week.
Looking for something to do this weekend? Carson has ideas in her calendar.
Here's what's coming up this week. On April 27th, dance the waltzes and contra dances of the early 19th century. It's $10 for SJSU students, and it runs from 3 to 5 p.m. at the San Jose Women's Club. Also on April 27th, see Honk. It's going to be performed at the Montgomery Theater. Showtimes are at 12, 3:30, and 7 p.m. It's being put on by the CMT Rising Stars. On April 28th, the Sofa Street Fair. Entrance is free and it starts at 2 p.m. There will be 60 bands, 10 stages, and it'll cover 3 blocks. That's all for this week.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thank you for joining us and see you next week. Remember to add us on our socials at SJSU Update News.